Hi my dear friends, welcome back to our video series. This is the 7th session and we're going to take care of the gallery button, edit and make it completely. But before that, I'm not very happy with the style of the work that we have done so far. So I searched on the web for a few button vectors and button images and I find this one. So I'm gonna add this and I'm gonna slightly change our background too so that it looks more minimal and better overall. So bear with me as I make some changes first. So I go to Photoshop, put this on pixels and put the size 1920 in 1080. And now that my canvas is ready, I'm gonna drag the button photo that I downloaded from the net and I'm gonna drag it over into Photoshop, okay? And you can just use any image, by the way. You don't have to use this one. I'm gonna include it in your files, but you can just use anything. I'm not gonna use the other two buttons because they have a watermark and don't look as good. So I'm gonna use the top one and I need to crop it out. So for that, I'm gonna select this part with this tool here. Now I need to delete what is surrounding it, and with Control Shift and I can just invert my selection and you can just do the same, delete the rest instead of deleting this part. If you got an error, choose an eraser, click on the canvas once and do this again. So this time it's gonna work. So let me just do a Control Z, Control Shift and I, invert my selection and delete. Okay, so next I have a background which is white and I have this button image. I do a Control D to deselect this image and now I want my background to have the same color as my image. Now I'm gonna click on the background to make this happen. Double click on it, click on OK, double click on it again, and this time go to overlay, click on the color and choose the color picker, and voila, done. Next I'm gonna change the size of my image of the button. So I'm gonna make it smaller, put it here, get rid of the bottom part, so make sure that there's no attachments to the image and it's just the size of the button, okay, like so. And we're pretty much done here. So knowing a little Photoshop will always help you. Next we're going to take care of the background, so we'll start working on the background. Let me just add it here, drag it into Photoshop, put it here. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is just to put it on the overlay mode. Okay, so it's just whitish. Yeah, overlay. All right, so I want to change the placement of this pattern here, put it to the left, and I want to decrease the opacity a little to see how it looks like. And then I'm gonna add the button on top of this layer so that we can see the button and use it as well. I'm just testing things out. Next I'm gonna add the text that we had on the background. Okay, contemporary style. Let me just copy it here and see how it would look here. Okay, so I need to resize this. Maybe here would look good. And you know what, maybe I should put the pattern to the right again and maybe erase the left side a little so that it just looks more white and kind of different from the right. So let me just do that. Choose a bigger eraser. Yeah, something like this. So I'm gonna erase the left side and I'm gonna add the button to the left, contemporary style to the left, so the pattern moved back to the right and things are starting to shaping up. They look better and more minimal. I'm gonna make a few copies of the same button here. Maybe the first one is start and the next are the rest of the buttons that we would need, maybe gallery, options and exit. And I can just experiment with other modes, maybe multiply. Multiply is not looking that bad right now, so I might stick with it. And let me just change the placement of the text. So I'm gonna move it a little bit higher, maybe somewhere in the middle, and I'm gonna add a subtext to it as well. Maybe the company's website or something, www.cg master, or maybe let's say test.com. Okay, And we need to make this one a little bit smaller, so that would do. Okay, looking good. And it looks more attractive, but I want it to be more cold in terms of color. And so I can just change this by going to image adjustment, hue and saturation, and decrease the saturation, and play with these controls until it looks more white, like so. And I think we have a better style overall. Maybe we can just make the start button a little bit bigger. This is the gallery, this is the options, and this is the exit button. Okay, so things are instantly looking a lot better than what we previously had than this one. So I think we should just start importing this into Unreal and make the necessary changes. Okay, we can add the buttons to this background and import everything together, but I suggest that we do them separately. First import the background without the buttons and then work on the buttons. Okay, so I'm gonna toggle the buttons off for now, and then I'm gonna flatten the layers. That's something that we need to do before we can import this image. I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna flatten the layers. Okay, and then I'm gonna save this in session 7. I'm gonna include this in your files as well. I'm gonna call it 01 and JPEG format so that you can use it as well, highest quality. Okay, now it's time to move this inside Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna drag this new photo to Unreal Engine, and I want to put it inside my content browser. I had a folder, the photos folder. Okay, I'm gonna put it here, and then all I need to do is to just load it. So I select the image, background image, and look for 01 and replace this with 01. Okay, it's a little deformed because it's not the exact same size, so we need to take care of that. Yeah, so we need a full HD size. And for that to happen, I need to change the size from left and right, make it bigger, cover the whole area, and done. Now let me tell you something really important. So if I go to the game mode, the standalone game mode, and let's just wait for it to be loaded, we're gonna have these black bars on the sides. Okay, let's just wait for it to be loaded. I'm talking about these black bars on the sides, left and right. In order to rectify this and for this not to happen, we gotta choose the right anchor. So we go to anchor and choose this one. If we choose this one, the whole area is gonna be anchored and we're not gonna have those black bars again. So let's double check, go back to the game mode, save, let's see if it worked. Alright, so this time we're not gonna have these black bars on the sides there. Okay, so make sure to choose the right anchor for that not to happen. Alright, we can just move on. Let me just delete this text too, we don't need it, we already have it here. And let's move on to the buttons. I'm not gonna delete the buttons altogether and start adding the buttons from scratch. We're just gonna replace the photos. So let's go back to Photoshop and choose one of the buttons because they are the same, and try to use that button inside Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger so that we would have better resolution, and then I'm gonna right click on this file or the button here, right here, and I'm gonna choose export as. Next I would have to choose the right format. PNG would do, so I select PNG, click on export, and we get this window, the location. I'm gonna call it 08, the file. So let's just import it inside Unreal now. I'm gonna drag it here inside my content browser. Let me just drag it over here, and I'm gonna put it inside the photos folder that I made. Move to photos. Okay, now it's ready. Now all I have to do is to just load that 08 photo in all the right places. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. So for the start button, I go to style, normal. I'm gonna find this 08 here, done. And we would have to do the same thing for hovered here, so 08, and also for pressed. Load the same photo 08 for all these places. Okay, now it's ready. Now the only problem here is that it has changed the color. It's not white, so we need to go to style and tint and choose the white, completely white for it, and click on OK. Now it's fixed, it's ready. And I just want to make it smaller. Now we need to take care of the text. We could have dealt with the text situation inside Photoshop, and then it would be easier here. We wouldn't have to deal with padding and everything else. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to Photoshop at the start on the button and then load the image again. So let me just add a text box here, start. Okay, and then I would need to make it smaller and place it where I want to be on the button. Okay, so I think I would need to make the text a little bit smaller. Let me just do that. There, looks good. Do I need to change the color, or black is good? I don't know. Maybe we can change the color, choose another color for it. Let's see what we can use. Red. No, maybe not. Maybe black would do. So I'm gonna select the image and also the text, and then I'm gonna press Ctrl E on my keyboard. So these two layers are now combined and they are one, and then I'm gonna right click on it and export it. Okay, and then I'm gonna save it onto itself, same file, and we need to go back to Unreal Engine and go to the 08 file, and then all we need to do is just re-import it. Okay, we saved it onto itself, and all the updating will take care of itself. Okay, there, we don't need that text anymore. The start button is ready. Now let's move on to the next button here. So we're gonna go back to Photoshop, and I'm gonna make a copy of the button, the start button, and the text. I'm gonna select both of them, do Ctrl J on the keyboard, and I'm gonna copy both of them underneath like that. Let me just do it again. There. Okay, I'm gonna make this one smaller, and then we can just put it here. Let's see, and then I'm gonna change the text into gallery. Okay, gallery. All right, let's fix the text, place the text a little bit to the left like this. Now I think I should just capitalize all of these words here, so maybe we should do that. Maybe use capital G for gallery and do the same thing for start as well. They look better with capitalized words. Okay, so then I'm gonna have to copy this gallery button here, put one to the side for options. Let's just find it here. It's this one, gallery. This is the button here on the right, gallery. I'm gonna do a Ctrl J, make a copy of this, and then I'm gonna copy the text box too, put one over there, and then I'm gonna change the text here to option. Okay, we need one more button here, so same thing. I'm gonna copy one of these, this one. Yeah, this is the button. I'm gonna copy it to the right, and also we need the text. Let's see which one is the text. Okay, copy the text too, and I think we are moving too much to the right. I don't want the colors of the right parts to affect the buttons here, so I'm gonna make things more cozy here. Put options to the left a little, this button too. Okay, more put together. Change options into exit and place exit in the middle of the button like so. All right, good. And now I want to erase this part for this just one little button here, because we are seeing the outline. Let me just choose a small eraser, take care of this part. There, smooth out this part. Now it's ready. Okay, you can use the same thing, or if you want to use your own style or buttons or everything, you can just do that. So everything is ready. I'm gonna put a start in the middle, and I think I'm gonna stick with this, and I'm gonna use this as the reference for my work. Let's just start importing these things into Unreal. I'm gonna start with gallery. I'm gonna select gallery and the button underneath, select both of them here, and press Ctrl E so that the two layers are becoming one like this. And then do the same thing with options, select the text and the button, do Control E, and the same thing for exit. Okay, and we also changed the start button, so we need to do that again too. Now everything seems to be ready, and we can start exporting these images. Let's start with the start. I'm going to right click on it, choose export as, and export same name 08, save onto itself. Now with gallery, let's do the same thing, right click on it, export, and I'm going to call this one 09. Okay, and options, do the same thing, right click, export, and let's just call this one 10. And the last button, exit, do the same thing, right click, export, and let's just call this one 11. Okay, now the buttons are ready. We can go to Unreal Engine and start and pick up our work there. Let's start with the start button. We need to re-import it, right click on it, re-import, and let's just do this again. Let me just see if it's done correctly. Re-import with new file. I'm going to select 08 again, same thing. Yeah, it's done correctly. Let's do the rest. I'm going to click on import, select 9 to 11, and import all of them together. Let's just start with this button here. I'm going to load number 9, which is gallery. Okay, let's just find it. And now we need to take care of the color as well. Go back to tint and choose white, completely white, so that the color is fixed too. We need to do this for all the buttons here. Okay, so we need to choose white, and also choose this image for hovered and pressed as well. So all these places should have this image selected. Let me double check, and let's just go back to, oh, okay, I need to load it here as well. And the tint for normal, I need to change the tint for normal to white there. So gallery is ready too, and let me just place a start in the middle and the rest underneath. And our exit was number 10 or 11. Oh, it was 11, so sorry. Let me just, I think I put the images of gallery on the options button, so let me just fix that real quick. So we were just dealing with the options button but putting the images of gallery for it. So I'm gonna have to change all of these images real fast to 10, put options for all of them. Let's see, 10 again, and we didn't have a gallery button yet, so bear with me. All right, do the same for exit, choose white for it, and choose the exit image for hovered and pressed. So I'm going through these real quickly. I'm gonna make a copy of this exit button, and I'm gonna use it for the gallery later on. Okay, so let's just load gallery images on it too. Gallery 09, gallery everywhere, there. Okay, so the buttons are ready. I need to resize the buttons, and I need to delete these little texts here. Now I need to change the size of these buttons, but you know what, I thought of something. Maybe I can just add our reference here to Unreal Engine and use it as a reference until we are done with the placement of the buttons. So that's what I'm going to do next. Let me just flatten the image first, and then I need to save it as 20 maybe. Okay, and now I'm gonna import it inside Unreal 20 there. I'm gonna place it on my canvas, and let me just resize it, put it to the top left, and drag it over there, same size. Now it's the top layer. We need to put this as a layer underneath. Okay, so we need to put this at the bottom there. Now it's the background of our work, and we can just place all these buttons a lot more easily in the right places. Now we have the reference underneath, so I'm gonna put gallery here, change the size. Good. Now I can use the same size for gallery for the other buttons, and I wouldn't have to do it manually. So I need to go to the slot and look at these numbers, 260 and 107. Now all I need to do is to do the same for the other buttons, 260 for options X and 170 for Y there, put it in the middle, and exit 260 and 107. Okay, now I need to place them correctly. Exit on exit. Perfect. Let me just do this. Great. Now everything is ready and it looks exactly like our reference, and I can just delete the reference now. It's this image. I'm going to delete it. Good. Okay, everything's ready. All the buttons are ready, and we can just test it out. Let's test it out and then just pick up our work. I'm going to put this on a standalone game, and let's save everything. And we haven't made the gallery button yet, but the rest of the buttons should work fine. Let's see. Let's wait for it to be loaded. Okay, let's go to options. It's working, and we need to change the background as well. It's a simple image, no biggie. And let's go to start. See if it works too. Good. Now, let me just show you something. Did you notice that kind of grayish tint on the buttons? Let me just show it to you again. I'm talking about this tint, gray tint, when I'm hovering over the button, and we have it for options and exit as well. We need to take care of that. So I go back to my widget and click on start. In the details panel, I'll go to appearance, a style, and we took care of the normal. It's white. We need to modify hovered, select white for it, and also pressed. Let's check that out too. Okay, and we need to do the same thing for the other buttons as well. So we need to do the same thing for exit, for hovered and pressed. Choose white, click on OK. Let's do press 2. Options was, let's just check it. Yes. So do gallery 2, choose white, also here, and click on OK. Now we can just go back and test it out. Go to game mode. Yes, so the problem is solved. No grayish tints, and everything seems to be working fine. Okay. Now another interesting thing that we can do is to animate these buttons here, but we're not gonna do that right now. We're gonna save that for later on. Later on we can just learn it and do it together, but today let's just focus on finishing gallery and take care of that. And it's kind of similar to what we did for options, but let me just change the background for options while we're at it. So I forgot about that. So let's just quickly change the background for options. All I need to do is to just choose this background, and we can just delete it altogether, or leave it and change the color. Let's just delete it. Okay, so I'm going to change the size 1920 full HD. I'm going to add a border here, drag a border inside, and change the size so that it covers the whole area. Okay, and now I'm going to anchor it into a full screen mode. Alright, now it's ready. Next I need to choose the color that I have for the main menu for this one, so that they are kind of harmonious. So I'm going to add that image here and use a color picker to pick that color and use it. So let me just quickly do that. There are multiple ways of doing it. I'm just gonna find the color here, so I'm gonna dock this and go use the color picker to pick this color. So let me just find the appropriate color picker. Is it this one? No. This one? Yes. Okay, so I need this color. I pick it from this button, this area, and we are done. The color is more harmonious. Now we need to put this layer underneath our arrow, so the arrow is on top. Okay, so let's just make sure the arrow is on top of the layer, and done. Compile and save, and we can just go back and test out everything. Options, yeah, it's working. So our options is now the same color as the main menu, and it's what we wanted. Alright, let's just build our gallery. We need a new widget, so I'm gonna create a new widget, and I'm gonna select the user, call this gallery. Pretty similar to what we did for options. I'm gonna double click on it, go inside. We need the same canvas. I'm gonna search for it, add a canvas here. I'm gonna adjust the size to full HD 1920 in 1080, and then we need a border. You know what, let's just use the border that we just made for our options. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this layer, and I'm gonna paste it here for my gallery. Okay, now we need the back button as well. Let me just anchor it full screen. Okay, now it's ready. Let's just copy the back button too. We need this in gallery as well. I'm gonna copy it again and paste it here in a way that it lands on top. So I'm gonna select this and paste it here so that the back button is on top of this layer. I'm gonna put it to the bottom left corner here. Done. Let's go to events and on clicked. Let's click on that, go to event graph, and let's start with our click event. I'm gonna drag this, search for remove from parent like we used to do for options as well. So we're gonna get rid of the previous widget. I'm gonna do create widget next, create widget, and I'm gonna inside it load the widget that I want to see, which is a start, and then I'm gonna link it to viewport, add to viewport, and done. Link return value to target. Okay, save and compile. Now our event is ready. Okay, so let's just start designing our gallery. Here I want some screenshots taken from the project itself, and I want 2 arrows to be able to go back and forth between these photos, and I want the photos to be placed here, maybe in this rectangle, and I want the arrows to go like this. Okay, this is the design that I want to achieve, and we can just start making it right now. First we need some screenshots, so I'm gonna go back to the main level inside my project to take those screenshots. Let me just navigate back to my main in my content browser, this level here. I'm gonna double click on it, save everything, go inside, and maybe inside the project I can just use the camera and get some nice screenshots. Let me just find a nice angle, maybe this angle, or maybe let me just adjust the camera again. This would be better, something like this. Let me just find the perfect angle. Okay, this seems nice, so I'm gonna take a screenshot here, choose 3 for my multiplier. That's a nice quality, and wait for it to happen. I've already taken some screenshots. I only need 3 or 4. I've already taken them. I have them ready here, so to save time I'm just gonna import them inside Unreal. You can just take the screenshots. I'm gonna take these 3, 1 to 3, SH01, SH02 and 3, and I'm gonna drag them inside Unreal. Let's just close this. I'm gonna put it here. Okay, let me just import them properly. So I'm gonna drag them here inside this folder. They are called SH01, 2, 3. Okay, so everything's ready now. Now I need an image on my canvas. Instead of dragging the image onto the canvas, this time I'm going to drag the image in the hierarchy here, and now I can select the image and resize it more easily. Put it in the center, make it larger. This seems to be a nice size. Alright, here, this seems fine. And here I want my first screenshot to be shown, and then I need some arrows to change in between. So I'm gonna find SH01, and let me just do it again. Yeah. So first we get a glimpse of this photo, and then we would use the arrows to see the next ones. Let me just change the border color. Maybe black would make it stand out more. Maybe not. Use the same background, huh? Let's just use the same background. Okay. So we can just go and add our arrows now. I've already searched the web for a nice looking arrow for my project, and I've already downloaded it, so let's just go and pick it up. Let's see. I've put it here. It's this one, and I'm gonna call it 86. Name it 86 and import it inside this folder. So I'm gonna drag it over here. There. Now I can just add it to the sides. Another image into my canvas. I'm gonna put it here and to the left, and inside it I'm gonna load this arrow called 86. I'm gonna search for it. 86. There. We need to resize it so that it looks right. Okay. There. This looks nice. Now we need to take care of the outline. For that we go to draw as and change it to image, and we need to do the same thing, load the image inside hovered and pressed as well, load the same image. So we have to have the same setting for pressed, hovered and normal, same image for all, and the draw as option should be image. So let me just check if everything's correct here. Image, okay, seems ready. Okay, so we need another arrow in the opposite direction. For that to happen, I'm gonna open the same arrow inside Photoshop and do a Control A, select everything, and do a Control T, and then after that I'm gonna right click on the image and flip horizontal. Now we have this arrow ready. We're gonna save it as 87. I'm gonna call this 87. Okay, and now we need to import it inside Unreal. Put it here. Let me just drag it over there. Ready. Now I need to copy paste this arrow with Control C and Control V, put it on the right, and to be aligned perfectly with the arrow on the left, I can just look at the positions of X and Y here. For the left one, 125, let's say, and 500 for Y. Now we need to add the same coordinates for the arrow on the right there, and I'm gonna load the right photo, 87 for normal, hovered and pressed. Okay, pressed 87. I think I need to change the pressed for the one on the left to 86 there. Okay, I slightly moved this to the right and we are done. Now the arrows are ready. What we need to do is to change the anchors to the center for all these three pieces. So this photo or image should be anchored in the center. Same thing for the arrows. So I select center as the anchor for these arrows as well. The one on the left, anchor, center. Okay. So what's next? We need to tell Unreal so that whenever somebody clicked on these two arrows, they would be redirected to a new widget. Okay, so that's one way of doing things. So let me just show you what I mean. So if somebody clicks on the arrow on the right, they would be redirected to a new widget that is exactly like the widget that we have here, but with a different screenshot. So I can just duplicate this widget, call this one gallery 1, but load another screenshot inside of it, like so. The next one, sh02. I compile and save, and if we do this one more time, we have another widget with another screenshot. So I'm gonna duplicate it again. This time I'm gonna load the other screenshot, the last one, sh03. Now we have 3 screenshots, 3 widgets, and every time somebody clicks on an arrow, they will be directed to a new widget. So what do we have to do next? Let me just close this for a second. So now we need to tell Unreal whenever somebody clicks on this arrow, they should be redirected to the next widget, and if somebody clicks on this arrow on the left, they will be directed to the widget before it. Okay, so one before and one after, and we only need to do this once. We don't need to do it every time we need a new blueprint. We can just use the same blueprint, so don't worry about it, and let's do it. So if I clicked on this arrow right now, I should be directed to gallery 2. So I go to events on clicked, and here I'm gonna drag this. I'm gonna search for remove from parent. Okay, same steps. Next node should be create widget. I'm gonna load gallery 1 here. All right, and next one, add to viewport. And then I'm gonna link return value to target. So this is fixed. Okay, and we can just create a comment for this as well. Let me just make the comment box bigger. All right, and we can call this gallery 1. All right, save it, compile, and we can test it out right now. I'm gonna open up this level, save everything. So let's just wait a couple of seconds for everything to be saved, and I'm gonna open it in a new window. Okay, let's just click on gallery. Oh, so we haven't defined anything to be opened when we click on gallery. That's what we're going to do next. So I'm gonna go to gallery button, events, unclicked, and then I'm gonna copy everything here, the nodes only. I don't need the comments. Let me just copy the nodes only, take the nodes and move them down here. Then I'm going to delete this little node here. I'm going to link the click event to it. Now it's ready. I'm going to load gallery inside my create widget. All right, so when somebody clicks on gallery, they see the gallery widget. We can just test it out again. Click on options, gallery, there. So this is our gallery widget. The back button is working and gallery is working too, and this arrow should be working as well. Let's click on it and see, there it's working. So the arrow on the left is not working yet, but the arrow on the right is working for gallery and gallery 1. All right, so the widgets gallery and gallery 1 are working, and the back button is working too. Okay, so we had 3 photos, 3 widgets. 2 of them are working right now, 1 and 2. And if I had more photos, I would program the right arrow again so that we could see the next ones, but we don't. We only have 1 more left, so we only take care of the left one. I go back to the content browser, open up the widget called gallery 1, and we can just delete the right arrow because at this point we don't need the right arrow anymore. So we can just delete it, and we need to program the arrow on the left. So when somebody clicks on the arrow on the left, what should happen? We go to events and click on unclicked. Now they should be taken back to the gallery widget. So I'm gonna copy these nodes and paste them here, link them together, and load gallery. So they should be taken back to the gallery widget, the one in between. Compile and save. Let's go and test things out again. Let's see, gallery. Right arrow is working once, and the left arrow, it's working too. And we only have this left arrow to take care of. Where should this arrow take us? To a widget called gallery 2, this one right here, which contains our last screenshot. So let's go to the widget called gallery, the main gallery, double click on it, and here I need to program this arrow on the left. I select it, go to events, unclicked, and now I need to make a copy of these nodes and paste them down here. I'm gonna delete the event and link the new event to it. Okay, and I'm gonna load gallery 2 inside the create widget. Okay, done. Now this arrow is ready to compile and save. Let's go and test it out. So we go inside gallery, right arrow is working, left arrow is working too. So we need to take care of this, program this arrow on the right and delete this arrow on the left for the last picture, and then we will be done. So inside content browser, I'm gonna open up gallery 2 widget. I'm gonna delete this arrow on the left, we don't need it, and select the one on the right, go to events, unclicked, and inside the event graph, I'm gonna copy these nodes, paste them down here, link them all together with the new event there, and I'm gonna load gallery inside create widget, compile and save, and we are done. Let's go back and test it out. Everything should be working. Options is working, gallery, the one on the right, back on the left, everything is working fine and beautiful. And we even can add a sound to these arrows on the sides, and we can do that very easily. So let me just go back to my widget. Let's say we want to add a sound to this arrow. So we need to go to the details panel and go to a tab which is called pressed sound. Okay, it's this one. So I'm gonna find the sound that we used before. I think it was S01. Let me just find it. Yes. So I'm gonna select this. The same thing for the arrow on the left. I'm gonna go to pressed sound S01, select it. Okay, here, and we can just compile and save. And we need to do the same thing for the other widgets. So let's go to the other widget. This one, we have this arrow. Let's go to pressed sound and load S01. Okay, make sure that you load the right sound clip. And the last widget, this arrow, we go to pressed sound again and find S01, load it, compile and save. Now everything is ready. Now we can just test it out. Alright, everything seems to be working perfectly, and regardless of the number of the photos you want to have inside the gallery, you can just use the same principles and add them one by one. So we took care of the gallery, and next we're going to take care of options. And since the rest of the buttons like exit and start are already done, we can just add some finishing touches to the whole menu. Okay, so in the next couple of videos, we're going to take care of the options button and what's inside it. And that's it for this session. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.